Okay.
How long did it take you to watch this?
I think almost 4 hours.
4 hours.
Almost.
We're not doing a podcast for 4 hours, I'll tell you that right now. So you're gonna have to pick and choose
Well,
what you want to talk about.
let me just. So, what's a good movie that we've talked about lately?
I think Kramer vs. Kramer was probably the longest, along with Contact.
That was the longest episode. Kramer versus Kramer. Where are my notes for that? I just want to sort of illustrate something. Yeah, so Kramer versus Kramer. Okay, yeah, I took quite a lot of notes for Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
These.
Yeah.
That's more than I take for the average movie. Like Contact, which was a long episode, I only took this many notes.
Yeah.
Master... Oh, here we go. So, here, you see this?
Yeah.
And it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and then I ran out of space in the Notes app. So part 2, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down.
So what I'm saying is you loved it.
I have a lot to say.
Gonna have to pick and choose. Gonna have to pick and choose. Can't say all of that.
L'chaim.
Is that alcohol?
Here we go.
It's only 6 in the evening, right?
Yep.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Pictures with Tawane and Max. You're probably wondering why I'm doing an Italian accent so terribly, but it seems fitting for our episode this week, which is Maximilian. Would you like to say the title of this week's episode?
I'm not Max. I'm Prince Lali Jamba from the Ringy Dingy Heights near Bombay, Calcutta, and New Delhi, India. And we're talking about Master of Disguise, 2002's Master of Disguise.
You have to do the
starring
Italian accent.
Dana Carvey, Brent Spiner, Alex, Jennifer Esposito. Written by Dana Carvey, SNL alum Dana Carvey, and Harris Goldberg, writer of Deuce Bigalow, American Gigolo, also starring Thanos' dad. Directed by a guy who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Master of Disguise.
So you're not gonna do the Italian accent? The Italian accent.
But it's not even. It's not. I can't. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm not saying that I typically watch the movies we talk about on illegal services. I'm not saying that. But when I looked up how to watch this movie online,
Very hard to find.
the second result was a pirated site.
Oh.
So even the studio who made this movie does not care about people illegally watching it. They don't care about losing money on this film. Hard to find, did you say?
Is in on a streaming service.
Oh, yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah. So you loved it.
So Master of Disguise.
One of the most iconic comedies of the past 25 years.
I want to see how long you're going to keep this bit up, because I know this can't have been enjoyable for you, except for the fact that you knew that I had to watch it as well.
Okay. This is my pick. Just to put it out there. This is my pick. Because after last week's pick, which was Tron, the first Tron, I did not enjoy sitting through an hour and a half of watching Tron. At the end of the episode, I admitted some technological advancements that you can appreciate about the film. And it made me want to watch Tron Legacy, which I definitely will do next week. But I felt as if you threw your first shot. So this was my retaliation, Master of Disguise. And as I was watching it, honestly, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
I was pissed off. I was pissed off that I didn't pick a worse film I thought this is too enjoyable for you. You need something so boring that you're gonna ask yourself, why did I sit through this? And you have to admit, Max, it wasn't boring. Was it? It was not boring. It was not boring. You cannot call this film boring.
I guess not, in the sense that it made me feel things.
Exactly, and I think boring is the worst thing you can say about a film.
I don't know.
That's the worst thing you can say about a film.
Pretty bad. I would have rather enjoyed watching even a 2-hour-long boring movie than...
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. Let me just...
This movie was exhausting.
Let me just put it out there. I saw Master of Disguise when I was a kid. Have I seen it since? No. Did I think it was a masterpiece? I remember, like, the turtle scene, for example. I remember that from the film. Anything else, I did not remember. So when I was rewatching this, I didn't mind it. As a matter of fact, not only did I not mind it, I enjoyed it.
I don't believe you.
I laughed out loud.
I laughed out loud 2, maybe 3 times.
Oh, that cannot be true. Because the farting scenes with the villain, Brent Spiner.
Those are some of the best parts of the movie. That is saying something.
But it's so good because he farts. And then his face.
It's the running gag of he laughs like a villain and then he farts and he gets all awkward about it. And it just holds on him for a couple seconds before cutting away. And that is one of the most funny things this movie has to offer.
See, I'm even laughing now because it's so funny.
In a vacuum, it would be. But when I have to get through this movie to see those bits... And I'm not a big fan of toilet humor. I appreciate a good fart or burp every now and then. But, like, you gotta earn it. And this movie didn't earn it, but they were still the best parts of it. I'm not complimenting the fart gags. I'm putting down the rest of the film.
You know what? Let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's get into this masterpiece. Masterpiece, pun intended.
As soon as the opening credits began, the words, "Oh Christ," came out of my mouth. It's a weird fantasy font. It's really shitty MIDI music. Like, it's all digital instruments. I'm pretty sure any of this movie that isn't actual, like, songs played for the soundtrack, it's all MIDI shit. So it sounds like dog shit. It sounds like something you make on a laptop, but like, I could do this on my laptop.
Do you know, it reminded me of early 2000s movies like Alex Rider, the music.
Alex Rider had a real score, though. Alex Rider wasn't MIDI. I mean, it wasn't a good score, but
no, in terms
real
of like
instruments.
the vibe of it, the vibe of the music that it creates.
Sure.
But this film does it so much better and amplifies the narrative of what's going on. More so, right? The narration at the beginning. Because you have to learn about the disguises. Because it's not Master of Disguise. You think disguise is just a word, Master of Disguise, but it's actually a family called Disguise.
The Disguises, right. Before we get to that, I just want to point out that there's the opening credits, the shitty MIDI music. It's very sort of Harry Potter feeling, this sort of like these warm color, like the early Harry Potter movies, these warm colors, this cluttered set dressing of these magical books and shit.
But that's because, and see, that's how far ago I watched this. It really stemmed from how the craft of disguising was they sort of went with it as like, it's this esoteric, magical craft, which they were trying to instill in the film.
Okay, it's clear that we're going to be talking about different aspects of this movie.
I love this movie.
Before we get to the narration, I just want to point out that we pan over all these books. It opens on these books. One of the books open, and it's doing the opening credits of the cast and people who made the movie, and it's like one of those flip books where the pages are split into 3 things, and you can like have different animals, and you cross their body parts and mix them up. And this goes on for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a bad
Fantastic 2
90s
minutes.
rock song. The rock song literally telling us, don't worry, this is gonna be fun.
Fantastic
Those are
2
literal lyrics. Don't worry, this is gonna be fun. The
Fantastic
song
2
says,
minutes.
don't worry. This is gonna be fun.
And it was fun.
Then we get the narration. Many centuries ago, a remarkable family began to practice the magical art of disguise.
Yeah,
Down
magic,
through the
baby.
ages, they worked in secret, protecting the world from evil. This is their story. This is both read out loud and, this is spoken out loud and it's text on the screen. So this, I don't think I've seen a movie that hates its audience as much as this movie does.
Explain.
This movie seems to resent the fact that it's being made. Every part of it is like, every part of it except for Brent Spiner. Except for Brent Spiner, Data himself, who is a professional. Every part of this movie, it's like it just hates the fact that it exists, and it hates the people who are going to watch it.
I think, because I looked up some of the production stories, I think what sort of happened was that Dana Carvey had an idea that he wanted to pursue, and the studio went, we're not doing that. We want more of a kids film. And
Yeah.
Dana Carvey hated making the kids film.
You can tell.
And I think that's where you have the clash.
Yeah.
The clash within all of it. Because even the writer that you mentioned, what's his name?
Harris Goldberg.
Yeah. His other films are not kid-friendly.
No, Deuce Bigelow was not a kids movie.
Yeah. And Dana Carvey really wanted this to be like a character-filled film.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna point that out because I know one of the criticisms you're gonna have for this film, which is the narrative of the storytelling. Okay?
I'm not-
Because I just want to say Dana Carvey wanted just to do scenes where he played different characters.
That's clear. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't want you criticizing that. I don't want you to say it doesn't make any sense. Okay? Any scenes you've got prepared that say they don't make any sense.
No.
They're there to make Dana Carvey look cool because he's doing different characters.
No. But if you want to do a character showcase, then you do that, but you make a framework in which that works.
That's not what he wanted to do.
No, he wanted to make a character showcase. And if he had just
No, as in, yes, he did wanted to make a character showcase.
And if he had just made a character show... Well, okay, no, I think I see what you're getting at. Here's the thing. If this movie... The problem... the problem is that...
You started clapping.
The problem with this movie is that I could tell, because I know that Dana Carvey is a talented, smart comedian. He is a brilliant, funny mind. His SNL stuff is great. He's gone on to do great things. I mean, Wayne's World, it's a classic. And this was in that period where everyone who sort of graduated from SNL was then getting their own comedy movie to try them out for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like Mike Myers got it, and I'm going to stop listing examples there because I don't care to list any of the others because a lot of them weren't very great.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
Actually,
Adam
way
Sandler.
before that,
This is a Happy Madison production.
Yes, it is.
Which
Explains a lot, doesn't it?
Oh boy, does it! In the fact that it's a bunch of
classic.
people who wanted to hang out together and crank out a movie,
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that too.
and not really concerned about the movie itself. I could tell from it that whatever the original idea was, whatever Dana Carvey was approaching it with, was a very absurdist, surrealist, sarcastic, alt comedy movie. But it's directed like a mainstream kids adventure movie.
Yeah.
And those don't work together. And the direction, Perry Andelin Blake, person without a Wikipedia page,
Oh, is that the director?
apparently.
Okay.
I think it comes down to the direction. That's not true. It comes down to everything. It's not a good movie. But the direction is
It's a fantastic movie.
lots of parts of it
Shout
would
out
have
to
worked
Perry.
way better if it had been directed by someone who understood what it needed to be.
I think Perry understood exactly what this needed to be because he made me laugh.
Okay.
A comedy is meant to make you laugh. If it makes you laugh, you're good, bro. You're good.
This made me laugh intentionally twice and accidentally once.
That's 3 times.
3 times out of an hour and 20 minutes.
It's an hour and 20?
It's an hour 20. It felt so much
Oh,
goddamn
you got
longer.
off light. You got off light. But let's go back to the story.
Okay. So we open in Italy, 1979. There's an alarms in this big mansion and a girl is running and we get a freeze frame. And the narration says, "This is my son." And I was so worried at that moment that this was going to be like a 90s, early 2000s extremely transphobic movie.
Yeah.
Like the entire climax of Ace Ventura is pinned on just straight up transphobia, and it ages so poorly.
But the woman, what's her name? Borderic? Is that her name?
Oh, in Ace Ventura?
No. The woman.
In this?
Yeah, the first woman
I
that
have
he
no
disguises.
fucking clue who this is. She doesn't say.
No,
a
I
single
think it's
word.
Borderic. Yeah, it is Borderic.
I'm not even sure I know who that is. That name sounds familiar, but
Yeah, it's Borderic. Yeah, that's the first woman that Fabrizio disguises as.
so yeah, I was worried that it was going to go down a really bad route. It doesn't.
He's just good at disguises.
Yeah. She flies like a goddamn vampire. Not a Batman. Not like she's got because she's got the things and it's like she's gliding on the wings of her shawl or whatever it is. But no, she floats like a goddamn vampire. Which is where I first came to the conclusion that, oh, this is about a family of mystical demons that terrorize people
They're
throughout
mystical,
history.
yeah. They are mystical.
Demons. Unholy monsters.
Depends. Depends. Mystical, yes.
Unholy monsters.
Who's your daddy?
Jesus Christ. I immediately wrote, this reeks of Austin Powers, which I'm sure the director was trying to go for an Austin Powers vibe, because, look, it's Dana Carvey, and he was in Wayne's World with Mike Myers, and Mike Myers made Austin Powers, and that's a really successful movie, so we're going to try to copy that.
Well, one of the characters he plays, Terry Suave, was that what he was called?
That's
the
his
British
name.
guy?
Yep, Terry Suave.
Yeah. You can think of Austin Powers with that one, I guess.
Kind of? I'll get to that one. Oh, God. So she's in the car, it's really terrible green screen. The production value of this movie is not great. What was the budget for this?
14 million.
14? Okay.
Oh, 14 or 16 million.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But it made like 40 million.
Yeah, it made more than twice that, so it succeeded.
Because it was good.
Okay. So... Oh, wait, let me make sure that didn't fuck up the mic. No.
I don't think the story matters that much because the story isn't really the big thing. Because you meet Pistachio.
Yes, the grandson of the narrator is named Pistachio. We get introduced to him after escaping from Fabrizio in 1979. There is an Illuminati coin screen wipe.
Yeah, when I saw that happening so many times, I thought about you.
Why?
Because I want to know, I know how you like fade to blacks, or when the screen just goes to black.
Thank God this movie actually uses a fade to black and gets a joke out of it. Only once.
How did you feel about the medallion swiping across the screen?
I love a well-timed screen wipe.
Yeah.
A good screen wipe can be fucking great.
How many, how did you love the 5 screen wipes in this?
I think it was 5, yeah, I was keeping count. I mean, it's the least of the problems that we have to deal with
loved
here.
it, yeah. Enhanced the story.
What about it did you love?
Everything.
In what way?
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of old school Disney.
In what way?
Like Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, Disney Channel.
Yeah, Disney Channel. Not the films, Disney Channel.
Okay.
Yeah, remind me of old school Disney
No,
Channel.
see, that tracks. Those are about on the same level. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Disney Channel, especially Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay. I'm
But-
glad it brought back good memories for
And
you.
speaking of Disney Channel, who plays young Pistachio?
So yeah, we get some narration talking about Pistachio's youth and how he was a dumbass kid who was always getting beaten up. This movie's got a lot of kids just eating shit, and I found that funny because it's maybe this is something wrong with me, but I find it funny in movies to see a kid fall into a wall or something like
Oh,
that.
you're the Trent. You're the Trent.
Sure. Trent hates that goddamn kid for some reason.
We'll get to Trent.
Just resents him. So when it was doing the child flashback, it was the baby moment. It was when he was being born and the doctor like pats him and then the baby slaps the doctor back and says, "You hit me, you slap me, I slap you." And at that moment I thought, I don't think I can take notes for this. I think I just have to coast through this goodbye. I went through a couple moments, including thinking, wait a minute, hey, that's Zach and/or Cody.
It's both.
It's both of them.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the movie right there. Thank God for those credits bloopers, because that is the most heart that was put into this film. Zach and/or Cody, he's...
And that's not the only Disney Channel connection you've got.
Is it not?
No.
Who else is it?
Sophia, the
Sophia?
girlfriend, the one with the big badunk duck.
Oh, yeah, her?
She plays the mom in Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, good for her.
I think that's as far as I can. Anyone I recognize from Disney Channel.
Yeah, I can't...
So,
yeah.
you see my point? You see, I think I saw this film on Disney Channel.
That makes sense. This does feel like something that would have reruns on Kid Network, Kid cable television
Yeah.
in the 2000s.
Yeah, you need to look at this as a kid, yo, and realize what a masterpiece this is.
Except I'm not a kid, and when I was a kid, I mean, I was a dumbass.
This is perfect. There's nothing highbrow about this film.
If you want to jangle keys in front of a 5-year-old for an hour and a half to keep them occupied, sure,
Jangle
it's perfect. Because that's what this movie is at its core. It's jangling keys. It's saying, yeah, eat the slop. Eat it up, you fucking little piece of shit.
You don't know what the slop is, though.
What?
You don't know what the slop
I know
is.
exactly what the slop is.
You're 4 years old. You don't know what slop is.
That is an insult, because if you could show a movie, if you could show a child a movie like Finding Nemo or Monsters Inc. or The Land Before Time or any children's movie that has heart and
Master of
soul put
Disguise.
into it. Okay, so we're back in the present. His dad has quit the Master of Disguise business. He owns an Italian restaurant. Walking on Sunshine happens. The pistachio nut boy, he's gonna go talk to this girl who he's into.
Sophia.
It is
Sophia.
Sure. It is at this point I wrote, nope, I'm going to do this right. I almost tuned out at the baby bit, which was just baffling to me, and his stupid voice, and his stupid, awkward college freshman idea of what a funny character is. Andy Kaufman is rolling in his goddamn grave. The flashback to see him, without an accent, by the way, as a child. The kids don't put on any kind of accent, even though he's got some sort of...
Because the kid can't do an
The
Italian
Sprouse
accent.
twins could have tried. They could have tried and gotten an accent at least as good as what Dana Carvey is doing in this.
You don't know that. It's done. Maybe it developed.
Maybe... Oh, the accent developed?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that. I mean, James Brolin's accent isn't great. No one's accent is great, to be honest.
No, everyone is phoning it in, except for Brent Spiner, who's just having fun. Except the movie isn't made in a way where you can appreciate the fun he's having, because you resent it.
I appreciate it. Shout out to Brent.
So he tries to... okay, so he tries to... He's in love with this girl with a giant ass.
Because she reminds him of his mom.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell if this was like a joke. Is this an Italians liking fat ass joke?
I've never heard of that.
I think this movie is digging on Italians throughout it, doing an Italian stare, because It's either that or he just wants to fuck his mom. And
See, I thought, because you've got the shot when he says, I love women who've got the big badonkadonk. He doesn't actually say
say that,
badonkadonk, but he says, I love women. But then you have the shot of the mom's backside. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was going to see a big woman. And then Sophia shows up, which is the mom from Wizards of Waverly Place. And then she turns around and you see the big badonkadonk. And then you go, that's what he loves.
well, but it's not just that, because later on, both him and his grandpa ogle a large woman crossing the street, who they then realize is actually a large man crossing the street with a dog. So
Yes. I think it's just...
it's the big... They're
It's
into
the big badonkadonk.
And I think that might be an Italian stereotype.
We need to talk to some Italians to see if they love the big badonkadonk.
Specifically American Italians, too. Like...
Is it different?
When I say Italian in this movie, there is... In America, when you talk about where someone's from, you don't mean that they have any real connection to the culture of that country. Like, if you're in America and you say, oh, Connor over there, he's Irish. He's not actually Irish, he's Boston Irish or something.
Oh, so not actually Irish.
No, and I guess this family is technically Italian, but this is operating off of... This whole movie is operating off of stereotype, and the Italian stereotype is the Italian-American stereotype.
Yeah.
The Guido, as you might say.
Yeah.
So I think that's what this is. When she's walking away and she knocks over the sign with her giant ass, that was almost funny.
That was hilarious.
It was almost funny.
Hilarious.
Almost.
I laughed out loud. I was like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, so much.
No, I know that's not true.
That's so true. So true.
Then the kid, Barney, rolls up on his skateboard and falls over and eats shit.
Which is another running gag throughout the film.
That he's bad at skateboarding?
Yeah.
Yeah. The dog is better at... The dog skateboarding is the best part of this movie. That was the most engaged I was. It is at this point when I wrote down... This whole character of Pistachio is just so poorly done. How did they think they could hang an entire movie on this non-specific, anti-funny performance? His Shrek impressions that he does in this bit are way funnier than anything he's trying to do with Pistachio. And then the kid doesn't laugh at the Shrek impressions, as if it's not the funniest thing we've seen in the movie so far. This Pistachio, it's like... When I said awkward, a college freshman idea of what a funny character is, he's... And this is how I know that it must be intentional, because Dana Carvey is funny, and yet he's just doing this terrible filling in all the gaps with nothing. There's no specificity, there's no target, there's no aim with any of this character. It's just farting into a camera. What do you think about Pistachio?
Pistachio. I love Pistachio, yo. I love Pistachio. Do you know why I love it? Because he's an underdog. He's an underdog. He has always thought that he was meant for bigger things, but his dad wouldn't allow him to achieve anything, wanted to keep him in a cage in the fucking Italian restaurant. He has this thing where, because he's always felt as if he needed to be somebody, he always felt this need inside to mimic other people. So out of nowhere, sometimes when he meets new people, he starts mimicking them.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. But they don't realize that he cannot control it. He cannot control it.
Yeah, he's got this compulsion. A demon possessing him.
It's magical powers, not a demon. Magical powers.
It's something dark and sinister for sure.
But I love Pistachio. I love Pistachio. Like I said, he's an underdog. He's got so much heart. He just wants to be loved. And you know, that's why when you meet Jennifer, who's played by Jennifer Esposito, you just want them to fall in love. I know that's the trope of, you know, the sidekick falls in love with the main guy. But you know that she would be so much happier with Pistachio. He's good with her kid.
Yeah.
He's always nice to everybody.
Yeah, that is...
He tries his best. He's a little bit of an idiot.
Yeah, the screenplay is really working on you.
I love this film.
Okay. Okay. But come on, be real. Dana Carvey's performance is like... It's like he's trying to throw it.
No, Okay.
You think this is a good Dana Carvey performance?
To be honest with you, I don't think I'm a big fan of Dana Carvey.
That's fair enough.
But even with saying that, I loved the work he's doing in this because you can tell he's just trying to showcase. Thinking back to when I was a kid and I watched this, I didn't know who Dana Carvey was.
No, of course not.
And I didn't know about SNL.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about like impressions or anything like that. So now watching it when I'm older, I can appreciate what he's trying to do, which is just him showcasing all the different impressions he's got in his locker.
Sure, but that's different. The characters that he does throughout the movie are different than Pistachio.
But Pistachio, if you were to put all the if you were to level it out, like Pistachio's screen time and all the other characters he plays, I think all the other characters he plays outweigh Pistachio's screen time.
Okay, but Pistachio was still the protagonist.
Because he has to be.
The real central core personality that we're following.
Because he has to be. He has to go through the hero's journey. He has to go from being unable to be a master of disguise to being a master of disguise.
I understand how the screenplay works. I understand how a character arc works. I'm talking about what Dana Carvey is doing as Pistachio.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's Oscar worthy.
I think he would tell us that it's bad.
It's Oscar worthy.
It's just, it's the... Come on. I know you're fucking with me. I know you're fucking with me. Because no, I'll give it. Some of the characters that he does, he is doing a thing. He's doing a specific thing. Sometimes he's doing absolutely fucking nothing. But sometimes he is really going for something. But Pistachio is the most empty, blank space, non-specific, it's like they told him to sit in front of the camera and just, be silly, because we gotta entertain, we gotta jangle the keys in front of it. The performance is jangling keys. It's jangling keys in front of kids, to the point where he's literally filling every blank space, every moment of silence in the movie with going, mugging to the camera, putting thumbs up and stupid gestures all around. I can tell what he's doing, because I know what it's like to be in that mindset where you just have to fucking fart your way through something. Okay. Actual funny line coming up. The kid falls over, he's trying to cheer up the kid, and his dog comes over. What's the fucking dog's name?
Oh, yeah.
The dog.
Yeah, the dog was called, did I put it in my notes?
Beauty or something. Little Beautiful or...
No, it was, what was the dog's name?
It's something to do with beautiful. It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter, because the dog's one of the main characters.
So anyway, the kid is like, oh, this is a fun dog, and Dana Carvey's like, yeah, and the kid's like, I never had a dog. And he says, well, perhaps your papa will get you a dog. And the kid says, I never had a dad. And that's funny. That is a funny setup.
That's just sad.
I never had a dog. I never had a dad. That's a good.
That's just sad. I just want to apologize to all the people out there who do not have dads or who their dads walked out in their lives. That's just sad.
I know. No, it is like objectively sad. But the problem is that joke is immediately ruined by Dana Carvey doing a stupid forced reaction where he's just mugging to the camera and being like, oh. Ugh.
Well, you really didn't like Pistachio, did you?
No. This movie offends me in so many ways. He's going around through the restaurant trying to serve food, but he's uncoordinated and gangly like the piece of shit that he is. He's almost bumping into people, and then suddenly we meet, woohoo! Rex, convicted J6 rioter, Jay Johnston.
What?
So this actually made me so happy. Jay Johnston, who was a staple of a lot of early 2000s comedy. He was in Mr. Show with Bob and David, a sketch show. He shows up in Arrested Development. He showed up all over the place, and he plays Rex, the bully waiter in this.
Yeah.
He was convicted of storming the Capitol building on January 6th.
Oh, man.
He's in the photos. You can see him.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
He's also, he used to voice one of the characters on Bob's Burgers, if that's more well-known for anyone.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So he's a good old traitor. Love seeing him show up. He's genuinely funny in a lot of things, so it's really weird.
Yeah, he puts in masterwork in this.
But this is also what I thought, hey, This movie, if this movie had like done better and was popular and not thought of with such derision, if this had been better for Jay Johnston's career, he might not have stormed the Capitol. So this movie is in partly responsible for January 6th.
That's a little bit far-fetched.
I don't think it's far-fetched at all. It's a direct line. A direct line between this movie and the January 6th attempted coup of the United States of America. Pistachio spills a bunch of spaghetti all over some patrons, and then they all just sit there like mannequins as he does a bit and like
cuteness,
pepper and cheese on them.
Cuteness. Cuteness.
And it's at this point when I started thinking, oh, if
that's
this
what the
movie,
dog was called.
Cuteness.
Yes.
Cuteness. Sure. Sure. I thought you were saying that about this bit with the spaghetti, and I was really worried for a minute there. It's this spaghetti bit when I realized, oh, if this movie was presented like an SNL sketch, like a sketch comedy thing, where you don't have to be grounded in the world at all, and it's all surrealist, you just let it go for the sake of the jokes, then I can see what it's going for. But it's not. It's directed like a kid's adventure movie, and it just sucks all the I don't know how to describe it, but like when you do comedy on that level where it's a couple layers deep in irony, then there's a vibe to it that elevates the whole thing. But when you don't approach it with that sense of irony, it just ruins it, and it makes it all stupid looking.
I disagree. I loved it.
Uh-huh.
I loved it.
Okay. When I edit this, I might count up how many times you say that. So his dad, anyway, he starts mimicking these customers and mocking them because of his compulsion.
Yeah.
The demon awakens and it activates his powers.
Not demon, magical powers.
At this point, his dad deals with the customers, and we get a little gag that's like, they make a gag like he's got split personality disorder. He keeps saying about all the different voices in his head, and sometimes Pistachio is the loudest. Not always, though. Sometimes it's the other ones. He's possessed by demons.
Magical powers. Carry on.
Okay. We get a random Papa Don't Preach reference, where they say a line and it just leads into the lyrics of Papa Don't Preach, the song, which isn't a joke.
What's Papa Don't Preach?
It's a song. How do the lyrics go? It's a Madonna song. I don't care that part about it. The point is that they start just saying the lyrics from a song, from a popular song, and it's not a joke. There's no gag. It's not a reference. It's just the writer wrote things in a way that led into some song lyrics for a couple of lines, and that's supposed to be passed off as comedy.
Well, I don't know the song, so I missed that. I don't know the song.
So it just made no sense at all why he started saying Papa Don't Preach? This is what I mean. At worst, it's barely a joke. It's a reference. No, sorry, that's at best. At best, it's just a reference to something that doesn't make sense. At worst, they're just spouting nonsense.
I don't know what to give you, Max. I loved it either way.
One is stonewalling me. Okay, we get another scene with Rex and the girl with the big ass.
Sophia.
Yeah, where we realize, I don't know what the point of the scene is. It's just like, oh, so they're dating each other, and Sophia doesn't like Pistachio. And
I don't think
Rex
she
is
ever
bullied.
did.
No,
No,
because why would she? He's a little weirdo.
although later on, when Pistachio does the "Who's the daddy? Who's the daddy? Who's the daddy?
Yeah,
Who's the daddy? Who's the daddy?"
when he beats Trent up, then she's like, "Oh, that was cool."
Yeah.
But what happened to her relationship with Rex? I don't know.
Rex was in that scene, by the way, with another girl.
Okay, so they're just all fucking each other.
Yeah, because that's what Italians do.
But the others aren't Italian. Maybe Sophia is, but Rex isn't Italian.
I don't think she's Italian.
Where the fuck are we?
Sophia, Rex, doing the smoochy smooch behind the restaurant.
Yeah.
Pistachio catches them. and then the parents get kidnapped by Devlin's crew.
By
Devlin's Black.
By Brent Spiner, Data from Star Trek, one of the guys from Independence Day. Great actor, really great actor. He's trying his best in this. He's having a good time, clearly, because he just got to be silly for a bit. We skipped right past a Burger King product placement.
There was a Burger King product placement?
Yeah, as the spaghetti customers are walking out, they say, we should have gone to Burger
yes! Yeah, we should have gone to Burger King.
And it was real, like, okay, yeah, we can tell who paid for this.
Free promo, yo.
The parents get kidnapped. The grandpa shows up and is like, I am here to... we need to save your father and my son. And Pistachio, because he's a fucking idiot, he says, so you're my sister. And then he's like, no, I'm your grandfather. And he's like, oh, that was my next guest. Again, barely a joke.
You didn't laugh?
You did.
Yeah.
That makes me think less of you as a person to want.
I laughed.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that you laughed. You're fucking with me. I believe that you enjoyed this movie to some extent, but I don't believe you laughed at that. Because that makes me have to rethink you as a person. Everything I know about you is called into question if I take that you laughed at that at face value.
It's a great joke.
It's barely a joke. It's not. It's just, look, he's stupid, right? A lot of the jokes come back to Pistachio's a dumbass, right? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
The grandpa shows up and starts explaining some things, and Pistachio's like, I didn't know what to do. And
the grandfather was also narrating the whole film.
Yeah, the grandfather. So I guess he's the protagonist? I don't know. No one's the protagonist. This is barely a movie. There's another joke, which it's another joke in this movie that exemplifies how resentful of the idea of real comedy this film is. Where the he's like, I didn't know what to do to find my parents. And the grandpa says, did you ask Jeeves? And he says, yes, but I didn't get anything. That is not a joke. Saying ask Jeeves is not a joke. There is not a character previously established in the movie named Jeeves for that to be a clever double reference to be like, oh, did you ask that guy Jeeves? And also like, hey, everyone know the old internet browser, Ask Jeeves?
That's what I thought it was.
That's going to be evergreen. It's not a joke. It's just like saying, did you Google it?
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
You didn't laugh?
That's just referencing something that exists.
You didn't laugh?
Okay. When the grandpa's doing a bunch of this exposition, I wrote down, it's like everyone is doing a cold read of the script. It's like they were put in front of a camera, given the script 5 minutes beforehand, and it's the first time any of them are reading through it.
Yeah.
That's how every performance in this movie feels.
I just want to say, James Brolin, who's in this film,
Father of Josh, is married to Barbra Streisand. I just want to put that out there. He is a renowned actor.
Yeah.
He is Hollywood royalty.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad for almost everyone in this movie.
They got paid.
Yeah, they got paid. I hope they got paid well. The grandpa does some exposition, and we get a character parade, which is really what the whole movie should have been, instead of any of this plot stuff. And it's throughout history, and it's the various disguises doing stuff throughout history. Where it's all Dana Carvey doing them. He's disguised as a knight statue, and he stabs a thief in the ass, and he mugs to the camera. Because isn't it funny when people turn a camera and make a stupid face? Isn't that funny? Don't you laugh at that?
I laughed.
Good. You're supposed to. You little piece of shit. Laugh at it. Laugh at it. Eat it up.
I ate it up and I'm full, y'all.
Grandpa says he was one of the world's first environmentalists because he's pretending to be a tree, and George Washington is going to cut down the cherry tree, which is an iconic piece of American folklore, and it's like George Washington, the first president, he cut down a cherry tree at one point, but he wasn't supposed to, and then he was asked about it, and he was like, I cannot tell a lie, I did that.
Oh.
It's a bizarre relic of American mythology, and I don't understand why it's so important or why it's so iconic.
Speaking of American mythology, because they also touch upon Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't a good public speaker, so they would switch whenever he was speaking in public. Is that a real thing? He wasn't able to speak in public?
No, I mean, he was the Gettysburg Address is one of the most famous speeches in American history. He was goddamn president. He got us through the Civil War. He was a fantastic public speaker. He fucking wrestled people that he didn't agree with. The dude was a badass. And this movie just takes Abe Lincoln and shits on him and says, like, yeah, he was a doofus, so whenever they would need to make a good speech, we get Dana Carvey to come out, and then he just dances like an idiot.
Yeah. What was the music that they played?
It was, what was it? What was it called? I can't remember.
I feel like you just hummed Mission Impossible.
No, it was close. What was the fucking... Everyone knows the song. If you hear the song, you're gonna recognize it. I don't remember what the fucking song was called.
If we go through everything you didn't like about this film, we're gonna be here a long time.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here a long time. We don't have that much time.
You make me watch this movie, I'm gonna make you listen to me talk about this movie.
We don't have that long. We got about another hour.
We're gonna have to pause and continue recording another day then, because I've got a lot of shit to get through.
Okay.
It's just shitting on Abe Lincoln. Again, there's no joke. He just dances like an idiot, which is kind of what this movie's attitude towards the audience is. We could actually give you, like, you know, good writing, or we could just dance like an idiot in front of your faces and make you eat it up. And the movie thinks that the audience, the stupid pieces of shit piss babies that they are, will be like the audience.
I resent that reference. I loved this film.
I know, Tawana.
Because it's a masterpiece.
Listen, I'm sorry if you catch strays from me right now, but I'm not gonna hold my shots. So none of the jokes make any sense. The environmentalist joke doesn't make any sense. The Abe Lincoln thing is just shitting on. We see a magic book. It's the magical pop-up book of the Disguisey Way, which is written in English, even though it was made by Italians in the 1700s.
Which is sort of like a children's book.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight up, it's just a children's pop-up book. It's got the specific rule on it that says why the grandpa can't help Pistachio save his parents, because it's like a master of disguise must save his parents without any direct help from his grandfather. Several times this movie uses that book just to explain away plot contrivances that honestly I wouldn't have thought of if the movie hadn't brought it up.
I enjoyed it.
Keep saying that. Keep saying that as much as you want, Tawana. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Except the way this pop-up book rule is worded, it doesn't make any sense because he's not a master of disguise yet, and it says that a master of disguise can't have any direct help.
Because he's an apprentice at the moment,
but he's
learning.
Exactly, but he's not a master of disguise, which
yeah,
means
but he's
that the grandpa...
he's gonna need the lessons when he becomes a master of disguise.
So the whole thing is just to teach him a lesson? His parents are kidnapped.
Yeah.
They could just deal with this now and start teaching him lessons later.
But you can't deal with it unless he learns how to be a disguiser.
Sure. Again, plot contrivance that I wouldn't have spent this time talking about if the movie hadn't made me think about it for some reason, just to dismiss it instantly. It's a Rube Goldberg machine, a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of ADR lines in this movie, and I wonder how much of this movie was written in ADR.
But you must have appreciated that as he was learning about how to be a disguise, there were a few things that linked to acting, to the craft of acting.
In what way?
Surely you appreciated the fact that he had to tap into the energico.
Are you saying that acting comes from a Star Wars ripoff? A Star Wars ripoff?
Energico.
I wrote down, so it's just the Force. And then later on in the movie, they spell it out like, hey, yeah, it's just like the Force from Star Wars.
Energico.
Don't compare what we do to this bullshit.
Energico. He had to learn to live as whoever he's gonna disguise as. He had to be, who are they? What are they? Where are they? All that shit that we do. All that fucking shit that we do.
An invisible force. An invisible magical force that provides them with inspiration, knowledge, and abilities. Demon possession. Every character is just another demon inhabiting his body.
You could do the exact same thing about actors, yo. You could say actors are fucking possessed when they act.
But you can't, because we don't think that there's a mystical force that gives us powers.
Well, I mean, who fucking knows, yo? Maybe. Who knows what we're tapping into? I get tired after a scene.
Yeah, because we're using a lot of mental energy. We're not tapping
Where's
into
that
a
energy
magical
coming
force.
from? Where's that energy
The
coming
food
from?
that we eat.
Oh, you don't know that.
We're not breaking the laws of thermodynamics.
We are breaking
We're
the
not
laws
going
of
to mystify acting to the level of this.
We're mystifying everything.
I'm not going to mystify acting. It is a job. Pretty much anyone can do it if they work at it and think right.
I disagree. Many people have worked at it and they're still shit.
Sure, but they're not using any magic powers.
Energico.
Energico, a word that is then not uttered for another hour and 10 minutes, basically.
Because it's not tapped into. He has to learn to tap into the Energico. Did you appreciate the Indian character he played?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. This movie thinks slaps are the funniest thing in the world.
Well, have you seen Power Rangers? The new one, not the old
I
one.
have not seen the new Power Rangers.
The new Power
The one
Rangers.
with Elizabeth Banks?
Yeah.
I've not seen that.
So the Red Ranger slaps one of the bullies, like just instead of punching, he just slaps him.
Yeah.
He's like, "Damn, I just slapped you. That's crazy, right?" It's supposed to be funny because it's a slap.
An open-handed slap to the face can be really, really funny.
Yeah. So how about a million slaps to the face?
No, see, that dilutes it.
No. And you're saying, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?"
Now, see, if he had committed to that and actually like made a thing out of saying "Who's your daddy?" and really taunting him, then that could have been funny. Again, as an old comedy thing, that could have been great. But he's not really committing to it. He's just saying flatly, "Who's your daddy?" and slapping him. "Who's your daddy?" slapping him.
But you
As
have to
opposed
say
like,
in an Italian accent.
But no, even the Italian accent doesn't do anything to it. If you said it in a way that like gets into your opponent's head and really psychologically manipulates them, it's like, "Who's your daddy, huh? Yeah? Who's your daddy?" That could be funny. That could be fucking hilarious. But they don't do that. They don't commit. No one commits except for Brent. Training montage. It's just a bunch of bullshit. He puts on prosthetics and just wiggles around like a lunatic to the camera, just mugging and pulling faces that aren't funny at all. Again, it's the specificity. Comedy comes from specificity.
What about the when he inflated because the balloon suit got too big?
Is the balloon suit using helium? Why would he float?
And he fell asleep whilst he was in the air, and his grandfather threw the dot to pop him. Mm-hmm. And he went to the ground. That was funny, right? Gotta admit, that was funny, right? That was funny, right? That was funny. See, you're laughing. You know you want to laugh.
I'm not laughing.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing at where I've found myself in life.
It was funny. Training montage.
Training montage.
Let's go.
The apples.
Better than Rockies.
The apples and the fake teeth. The apples and the fake teeth thing were the only part of the training montage that makes sense, because if you've got to wear a bunch of prosthetics and stuff, then you have to be able to use them well, and if you have to eat an apple at some point while wearing fake teeth, then you want to make sure your fake teeth don't come out when you're eating the apple. That made sense. Why they just kept using a bunch of different apples and different fake teeth instead of just using the same pair of fake teeth and apples, I don't understand. But it's because that we wouldn't see how much he tried without it if they didn't show a pile of fake teeth and apples stuck to each other on the side. Unless they had done what every other fucking training montage in existence does and shows someone trying something, struggling, and then getting better at it as they want by doing it multiple times.
He was struggling. He couldn't slap the robot.
But that's through the whole movie. That's not contained to this. And there's no reason why he suddenly gets good at slapping later on. He just does. He's just good at it all of a sudden.
Tapped into the Energico.
And it doesn't happen in the training montage, so it's not even like you can pass it off as, oh, he trained at it.
Did you like when he started wrestling with the robot, and the robot started saying, "Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
This movie
Who's your
thinks
daddy?"
that's the funniest thing in goddamn existence. This movie is operating on the level of a slightly sharp 7-year-old.
That's good enough.
Is it?
If you're aiming for 7-year-olds, yeah.
Okay, but Tawana, you're not 7.
I watched it when I was like 4.
And you watched it again when you're 27?
28.
28 now?
Yeah. Yeah, she loved it.
That's concerning.
You can't pick what you love, yo.
No, but you can examine yourself for what you love.
I'm a kid at heart.
So am I. But I can't turn off the part of my brain.
Then you're not a kid at heart. If you can't turn it off, you're not a kid at heart.
No, because
I think you need to question
if you
yourself
show me a
about-
movie that has heart to it, if we were watching Spy Kids or something, it's not a great movie, but it's got so much heart and you can't help but love it. This movie has no heart. It has no soul. It resents the fact that it exists.
Energico.
Oh, okay. He's doing a bunch of prosthetic stuff. At one point, he's dressed as a schoolgirl hanging outside his school, and a kid gives him a rose. This is disturbing on so many levels.
Little boy doesn't know who it is.
90% of what Dana Carvey is trying to sell as funny is him making a doofy smile and glancing from side to side.
I think I've seen... See, I haven't seen... Is it Wayne's World?
Wayne's World.
I haven't seen that. This is... I've seen his impression of Bush.
Bush, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he does a Bush in this movie.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. It's the best part.
And this. So...
You've seen him do Biden on SNL. You've seen him do
He
Church
wasn't
Lady.
funny as Biden, though.
You don't think so?
No.
Have you seen any of his Church Lady stuff?
No.
Oh.
No. I should check it out.
What?
I should check it out.
Oh, yeah. What
Yeah.
I'm saying, Dana Carvey is not for everyone, and he's not always funny, but he is talented, and he can do a really sharp, really on-point impression that is specific, and is doing specific things with specific comedy beats.
No, that is true, because even his Bush impression is fantastic.
Yeah. Pistachio, none of it is specific at all.
disagree.
Name one specific thing Pistachio does.
Energico.
He doesn't ever say that. It's all the grandpa that says that. And it's at this point that I wrote, who the fuck signed off on this character? Being a Happy Madison production, not all Happy Madison movies are the greatest thing in the world, but at least Adam Sandler commits to the stupid shit that he's doing. Dana Carvey is being so non-committal, again, because I think I can tell that he resented the fact that he had to make this movie the way he had to make it.
So apparently, after Wayne's World, this film was sort of seen as like his comeback, because he gained success with Wayne's World,
Yeah.
and it sort of tailed off. And this was like his big comeback.
Oh no.
So that's context to keep in mind. So I'd suggest you be a bit more friendly with your criticism.
Nah, Dana Carvey's doing fine. I don't feel bad about shitting on this movie. I don't think he would feel bad about shitting on this movie.
Energico.
So, okay, where are we? Oh yeah, we're only 22 minutes into the movie. It's an hour and 20 minutes long. This movie
Yeah,
is,
but it's got like 10 minutes of credits.
this movie is, I know it does. That was the cruelest twist of all. When I thought we were done, and it wasn't. There were 10 minutes left. This movie is so dense. And now we see Brent Spiner, who we saw briefly at the beginning. He, for some reason, hasn't aged at all since the 70s. He's exactly the same.
He's just that good.
He's just that good, I guess. It's also unclear what he was doing in Palermo that landed him in the state prison. It's unclear what Fabrizio did.
shit.
But what was he? How did he get caught? What did Fabrizio do? We just saw Fabrizio run away. It's so unclear what anything is supposed to be. You love this movie. Can
Yeah.
you explain it? Can you help me understand?
I just told you he was stealing shit. Which is what he carries on doing when he gets out.
How do we know he was stealing shit?
Because he got caught.
But why? For what?
For stealing shit.
Steal what shit?
Shit in Italy.
How did Fabrizio get him caught?
Because the police showed up at the end. When he left as Bo Derek.
Then why was Fabrizio running?
Because Fabrizio was escaping as Bo Derek.
Escaping from Brent Spiner.
Yeah,
Who was
and the police
stealing-
showed up
and the
as,
police-
as he escaped. And then he carried on his crusade of stealing shit. That's what he says in his yearbook. What did he say in his yearbook? I want to steal all the ancient artifacts in the world.
That was a good gag. That was actually a good
And
gag.
shit like that. Yeah.
That got a chuckle out of me.
That's what he was doing. I think it's self-explanatory, really.
He's kidnapped the parents. He wants to use the dad to steal a bunch of cool shit. And he's like drugged the mom and convinced her that she's still in the kitchen making food. And I don't understand why he doesn't just chain her to a chair and hold a gun. But he's going through this
Much more fun when you see towards the end when the mom escapes, when the guy is coming. Is it the flower?
Yeah, why is the guard hiding in a pile of flour? Why is he not just off to the side holding a gun pointed at her head? Why are they going through the song and dance routine?
It's a slapstick comedy, yo.
But there's no slapstick involved
because
here.
she starts hitting the guy in the flower.
The only thing that makes any of this slightly redeemable is that the actress playing his mom, Edie McClurg, is really funny and really talented. She's been in a whole bunch of stuff. She was in...
Barely got anything to do. It was a shame.
I know. She was wasted.
Yeah, wasted.
But the thing is that she can make making a pizza doing a silly voice actually entertaining because she's great.
Yeah.
Wasted. Completely wasted.
Yeah, that's my one criticism of the film. She should have done more.
If there's one thing to criticize this movie about, that sure is one of them. It is at this point where we learn about Energico as we cut to, as I wrote down, oh no.
Is this the Indian impression?
He's doing Indian face. Open sesame, Bab recorder playing. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm surprised
he
didn't get cancelled for this one. Out of all the people during that weird period when they were canceling people, Dana Carvey's name never came up, and this guy's doing an Indian impression, doing, oh my god, give me a little kiss. Ooh.
It's really bad.
And it's okay for me to do it because I'm brown as well. I'm actually darker.
I'm not sure that tracks entirely, but I'm gonna decide later whether or not I'm gonna edit that out.
Oh my god, man. Like, honestly, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just doing what he did.
Yeah, but what he did was not fine. What he did was very, very racist.
You didn't laugh?
No, I didn't. And
wait, are you saying Indian people don't play the flute and the snake rises up and they can kiss it?
I mean, I'm sure some do. Snake charming is a stereotype for a reason, but I don't think it's the thing that all Indian people do. I don't think it's a thing that most Indian people do. I would be hard-pressed to find a single Indian person that knows how to snake charm using a flute. Now, what
if I told you I know 5?
I would not believe you. I would say you're bullshitting.
I know 5.
Who? Introduce them
Ranjit?
to me.
Okay.
We'll deal with this later.
Yeah.
The voice that he's doing is so racist.
Oh, yeah.
As I quoted introducing this episode.
But you laughed though, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
2000, it's early... You know when we were watching Harold and Kumar?
Yeah.
And I said early 2000s humor was the best because it was absolutely crude and out there. They did not give a fuck.
Except Harold and Kumar doesn't...
It's a different total film.
It doesn't punch down.
No, it's a totally different type of film.
Yeah. It's a good movie, and this is not.
No, wait a minute. Master of Disguise is upper echelon of art.
So the thing is that when he's doing the bad Indian voice, I thought, oh, maybe this isn't as bad as I'm assuming, because look at him, he's doing it poorly, and the movie is also saying, yeah, he's doing it so poorly, he's never going to get anywhere with this, he's just working off of complete stereotype. This is bad. But then we get exposition about the Force.
Yeah. Energico.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take away the Force. So the whole thing with the Force in Star Wars is that it's taken away from Eastern philosophy. So now, when you look at Master of Disguise, and they're taken away from Eastern philosophy, but you're looking at it as they're taking it away from Star Wars.
No.
Whereas it's actually Eastern philosophy.
No, because they're also looking at it as taking away from Star Wars, because they point out, they spell it out later like, oh, it's like the Force from Star Wars.
When did they do that? I missed that.
How did you miss that? They do it twice in the movie and in the bloopers in the credits. They put the line in the movie twice, just to spell it out. Because the movie thinks that the people watching it are fucking morons. Because this movie hates its audience, and it hates that it exists, and I hate it!
I think I was focused on other more things, better things, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the mantra to help him control the snake, because he doesn't just start off being the Indian. He has to say the mantra.
He has to say the mantra.
Energico, 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 energico.
Well, that's not the mantra. The mantra is some bullshit like become someone else. Be someone else.
Become someone. How does it say it?
You just keep saying it over and over again.
Show
Be
me.
someone else. I don't remember exactly how he says it.
You saw it yesterday. Show me. You do. It's
No,
in there.
this part of it I saw a couple days ago because I had to watch it in 2 halves.
Okay, it's in there somewhere. I saw it longer than you.
I don't remember how he says it.
It's in there
I
somewhere.
don't even remember if he's doing the Indian voice while doing it.
No, it
Regardless,
changes. It starts off with pistachio, then it changes into the.
then it becomes. So
Yeah.
this is what I wanted to point out.
Can you present to us how
No,
he,
I'm
how it
not
happens?
going to do that.
No?
What I am going to do is point out that the force, the magical energy that these people tap into,
Eastern philosophy.
it's racist. The force is racist in this movie.
How so?
Because it's basing all of it off of stereotype. I thought this movie was gonna save it by then he actually does like a decent impression of an Indian accent. But no, it just becomes even more racist.
Why? When he kisses the snake?
That's part of it, yeah. And also, as I said before, I am Prince Lali Jamba from the Ringy Dingy Heights near Bombay,
yes!
Calcutta, and New Delhi, India, 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 India.
I think
The force-
you need to do it in the voice he did.
I'm not gonna
just
do that,
just to
Tawana.
point through, because when you just say the lines, it's not funny. When you do the voice, it's funny.
It's not, though. It's just racist.
Represent to the people how it's funny with the voice, yo.
I'm not gonna do that. I think people can go watch this movie by themselves. It's really easy to find online.
Yes.
They can watch it themselves and make up their own minds.
Yeah, and you will laugh.
It's at this point when
Become
I really
another
wrote down
person.
Dana.
Become another person. Become another person. Become another person. Become another person.
And then he just gets more sharply racist. It just gets honed in on, and fuck this movie. Fuck this movie in every sense.
Is that your mantra?
Yeah, for this episode, it's fuck this movie. Multiple times,
Is that how you're gonna?
multiple times I wrote in this movie, kill me now, in these notes. Snake charms the cobra, slapping bullshit. I mean, we have to move on because it's demoralizing to your opponent to repeat the phrase, "Who's your daddy?" mid-slap. Again, this is almost funny, but they don't commit to it. Anything you want to say before we move on to Brent Spiner?
No, I thought it was really cool how they used Eastern philosophy as a technique to get into
so Brent
the
Spiner
disguise.
is having the dad steal a bunch of artifacts. They do a national treasure on the
Why are you
Constitution.
not taking me seriously?
Because I know you're not being serious.
I'm being extremely serious.
No, you're not.
And can I also just say?
Yeah.
Can I also just say?
Please.
Because Fabrizio, I had to Google all the people he was disguising himself as, because
Yeah,
when he
they're-
walked out with the Constitution, he said the people said Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
I was like, that name sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, so he disguises himself as famous people.
Yeah.
Another thing, which when I brought it up in my head, I was like, this doesn't make sense. But then it made sense later, and I will explain. His dad, when he disguises himself, and to be honest, his grandfather, because his grandfather disguises as the maid
Yeah.
who's cleaning, who just, miraculously shows up at the house. The disguise is perfect because it's another actor.
It's instant and it's perfect, yeah.
With Pistachio,
Yeah.
his disguises are Dana Carvey. Now, when I brought it up, I was like, you missed a beat. But then, grandfather makes sure we know this. This is how great the script is. Makes sure we know this. Says he's only a 1.5 master right now.
Yeah, only-
And there's 11,000?
7,000.
7,000 levels
Yeah.
he has to get to. So he's at the base level. So it makes sense that he looks like himself whenever he disguises at this point. We need a sequel, yo.
could also
we need Master of Disguise 2
You could also
Level
explain it away
7,000.
as you could explain it away as James Brolin and Harold Gould just not being very good at doing impressions, and so they got in the other actors for them.
No, I like he's 1.5.
The only time that the dad and the grandpa are actually in like makeup and prosthetics is right at the end, when they're being the guards,
Oh yeah.
and they kill Brent Spiner.
Yes.
He's dead by the end of the movie. They headbutt him into the pool, and he explodes into a fart bubble.
And they laugh.
Yeah. It's really dark. Okay. Brent Spiner's having the dad steal a bunch of shit. Michael Johnson, who, is a 2002-ass celebrity that I haven't heard of.
He's a sprinter.
He's a sprinter. He's a racer. And as this is happening, the movie's playing Chariots of Fire theme, the dum bum bum ba-dum, bum 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 ba-dum, which is from the movie Chariots of Fire, which is about a racing guy.
And then this is where another gag where Brent Spiner does his evil laugh.
Yeah.
And he farts.
Genuinely one of the funniest parts of the movie so far, just because how much Brent Spiner sells it. And the cutaway. It's the cutaway that does it.
No, for me, it's when it holds after he farts. And it's like the awkwardness.
Yeah. And it just holds for a second or two.
And then it cuts. But as it went along, it holds slightly bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one point when he didn't fart.
Yeah, where
He was
gets through
laughing.
he gets through the laugh, and he's laughing, but he's getting worried, and he's like, and he's worried that it's going to happen, and it doesn't. And then he turns and immediately farts. It's just pure simple comedy math. It's the rule of threes. It's the subverting the expectations. It's the best writing in the movie.
Oh, God.
Actually, there is one part of the movie that is the best writing in the movie. That is actually a ridiculously funny moment.
Give it to us. Oh, okay.
We'll get to it soon. About the Michael Johnson joke with the Chariots of Fire playing in the background.
Yes.
This is like a dead man's comedy switch, in the fact that if you don't know either of these references, the other half of this joke doesn't work. If you don't know who Michael Johnson is, it doesn't make sense why Chariots of Fire is playing. If you don't know Chariots of Fire, it doesn't make sense why this music is playing for this guy. And if you don't know either of them, nothing about it makes any sense.
Yeah. But I watched it 4 years old. It made sense to me. I
You knew
laughed.
who Michael Johnson was?
It didn't matter.
You knew what Chariots of Fire was?
It didn't matter.
What did you laugh at this moment?
I laughed at how fast he ran.
Look at the keys. Look at the keys.
The keys are shiny, yo.
Isn't
The
it shiny?
keys are shiny, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when you should read this moment. I love having a master of disguise do my bidding. And then that's it, and he goes to punch him. It's like they're in different scenes entirely. They're not acting off of each other. They're just saying the lines because they probably got the script 5 minutes beforehand, and they're doing what are basically cold reads. And then the fart joke, and it's kind of fun.
They probably did all those scenes where they're talking in the car on the same day.
Oh, yeah, certainly. I wouldn't be surprised if James Brolin showed up for maybe a week of filming, and that's it.
Maybe 2 weeks.
Maybe 2
because
weeks.
of the last scene
Sure, maybe that.
with the big set piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even then, he's not in the big set piece for that long.
No, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean by 2 weeks. Like probably 1 full week doing the scenes in the car.
Yeah.
And the restaurant where he gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
Gets a few days off and then shows up maybe towards the end
Sure.
of the shoot, depending on the order that they shot it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're still in. Oh, they look for an assistant. Is that what's next?
Yep, we're getting to that. There's a useless scene of him trying and failing to slap the robot. Again, that keeps happening for some reason. They think the slaps are the funniest goddamn thing in the world.
Who's your daddy?
They see the large man who is actually they think that it's a large woman, but it's the large man with a dog. And this is where I thought, is the joke here that the Italians like big women? Is that what this gag is? Because both the grandpa and Pistachio are like, oh, look at that. And then they realize he's just a dude with long hair.
Big
And they're
women
like,
are
"Yeah."
hot, yo. Shout out to the big women.
Yeah, sure, yeah. No,
The
like,
big badonkadonks.
but this movie is treating them...
Badonkadonks Indian?
No.
Okay.
No. This movie is treating
them like they're weird for liking large women, and I think it's because they're Italian. I think they're doing an Italian thing. So he's level 1 out of 1,000. They're gonna get him an assistant.
1.5.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. They're gonna get him an assistant. And then this is what most of his character is just repeating things and awkwardly glancing around because the grandpa's like, "We're going to get you an assistant." And he's like, "Yes, we're going to get me an assistant," and he gives a little half-hearted thumbs up, and it's treading water.
We are going to my grandpappy. Yes.
See, what
Fantastic.
you just did right there was 10 times more committed than anything Dana Carvey does as Pistachio in this movie. What you just did had intent behind it. This doesn't have any intent besides I have to keep moving for the camera. And they go through a bunch of assistants. What's exactly wrong with them? Because the grandpa is like really angry and is like, "Get out!" at every single one of them.
Yo, they did the one with the black one. He said something. I forgot what he said. He said when the black one showed up, he said I forgot what he said because it started being a montage where he would just say no, too fat, too little, blah 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 blah, that type of shit.
He doesn't even say any of those things. He just says "get out" over and over again.
No, but he definitely says something on the black one.
Yeah?
Definitely says something. I'm forgetting what it was now.
I don't remember what it was either.
And I was like, that's a weird thing to put it right on the black one. And I was like, okay, it's early 2000s.
Yeah, this movie might be a little bit racist, casually or accidentally.
Yeah. Early 2000s. Okay, it's fine. I laughed anyway.
I'm sure you did. Again, I don't understand this whole thing with the assistants. It's not funny that they keep turning them down because it's unclear what the criteria for a good assistant are. So it's just showing a bunch of people and saying no over and over again.
The Energico will tell you.
It's no joke, but they're not drawing on Energico. They don't say Energico for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be said. It needs to be felt.
But it's not felt either because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
The grandfather feels it, yo.
It's just free association at this
I
point.
want to get to Jennifer, yo.
So we get to Jennifer. The kid knocks at the door, and I'm like, oh god, the kid's gonna be the sidekick.
See.
But no, it's the mom.
Yeah.
Because she's hot.
Yeah. Jennifer Esposito.
Yeah.
My.
And this poor woman, and I mean that the character Jennifer and the actress Jennifer, because, the actress that she had to be in this, and the character is this woman that's surrounded by intense maniacs and just has to put up with their shit the whole time. They basically sexually harass her by keep commenting that she's got a small ass, and she's like, I can hear you, right? But they're like, yeah, she seems alright. Again, we don't know what the criteria for a good assistant is, so we don't know.
Ridiculously beautiful.
I guess so. I guess that's it. But
No. Sorry, I'm not even talking about. I'm just saying ridiculously beautiful.
Oh yeah, no, she is.
Yeah, like ridiculous. My God.
She's an attractive woman.
My God.
And she's one of the better performances in this movie.
Yeah, she is. Plays off well against Pistachio.
Anything could play well against Pistachio. A wooden board would play interestingly against Pistachio. So yeah, they decide to hire her, but she's like still weirded out by them. She's like, I'm sorry about my son. He's still a kid. He thinks your name's Pistachio. He's like, it is. And she's like, oh, that's nice. And she's clearly uncomfortable and disturbed by these two people, these two maniacs that she has suddenly ran into. She's thinking, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This guy's a lunatic. Dana Carvey never has any idea what to do when he's not talking, so he's just making shit up on the spot. He's doing thumbs up all over the place. He's rubbing his hands like a pervert. He's just winging it. It's like really bad clown work, except he's a trained comedian. He should know better. Is he throwing it on purpose? I wrote this down. I've concluded since then he was throwing it on purpose. He's gotta be.
Give Dana Carvey his props, yo.
I'll give Dana Carvey his props. As certain parts of this movie, I'll give him some great props. Because we got to get to the turtle thing. That's what we're going to try to do. One of them sneezes. They're talking a bunch of Italian, and one of them sneezes, and Dana Carvey says "Gesundheit," and that's funny because like they're talking in Italian, but then he says "God bless you" in German, and that's actually funny. That's clean comedy writing. Never going to see anything that good again. And the grandpa says, "All right, the job's $417 a week plus dental." I'm not sure how much that is in 2000s money, but she's into it.
That's good pay right there.
Yeah. They sexually harass her more because, like, but can you resist Pistachio? And he's like, yes, can you resist me? And he's mugging to the camera, and his delivery in that moment is funny. That is the funniest moment Pistachio has because of the way he delivers it, because he's so clearly in on the fact that he looks like a maniac and an idiot. And she's uncomfortable with it, but then he's not joking about it, so they ruin that comedic tension. We get the moment where the grandpa's like, you have to ask yourself who, why, where, how, and he can't remember it.
There you go.
Because Pistachio's
There
dumb,
you go,
right?
actors.
Yeah, kind of, but but they've also got demonic force powers to draw on, so
Which
it's
we
not.
kind of do.
No, we don't.
We do.
No, we don't. We're just
wanna put
we're
it
just-
out there.
No, we just think about how people think a lot.
And we just got
It's
a
not-
demon.
it's
No
not
more people
magic.
don't think like that, yeah.
I don't know.
No more people don't think like that.
Normal people don't try to make a career off it. But we're not magical.
We're mystical.
No, we're not.
I'm putting it out there.
We're not mystical. These people are demons, though. They go who, where, why, how, and Pistachio can't get it because he's stupid. Laugh. Isn't it funny when the stupid guy doesn't know things? Ha ha ha. But then he gets it and he starts doing it who, why, where, how, and they start doing it like a rhythmic little dance thing.
Who, why, where, how,
And they both start dancing to it.
where, how,
And I wrote,
who, why, where, how,
have you ever seen Parks and Rec?
where, how? Parks and Rec. A little bit.
You ever seen bits of Ben Schwartz's character from Parks and Rec?
A little bit.
John Ralphio?
Does it do the who, why, where?
He does things like that. Like if you've ever seen the clip of him and Jenny Slate, who plays his sister in the show, and they start singing "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious," and they start dancing and singing to it, and it's very conspicuous. It's actually funny because they're very talented comedians. This moment in this movie where the grandpa and him are dancing to "Who I Wear," and I wrote down that this is like the primordial ooze that Ben Schwartz and Jenny Slate crawled out of to do their stuff in Parks and Rec.
So you're saying Master of Disguise had to crawl for Parks and Rec to run?
No, I'm saying that Master of Disguise sat there and festered like a pit of slime, and something eventually, kind of like it, existed later on in the future.
Who, what, where, how? Who, what?
And the whole time, Jennifer is standing around, looking around. She's like uncomfortable by them. She's like, these people are crazy. And she's looking around her environment as if she's looking for cameras because she thinks she's on MTV's Punk'd or something. Because if I was in her position, I would also be thinking that. Am I being punked right now by these maniacs? What's going on? They investigate the crime scene. Stupid detective gear. A handmade cigar from the Turtle Club. Why did he leave his cigar there? Does the club make these things in-house, or did they just put a label made, and they're made in Cuba and they just put a label on them? And a cigar grown in New York City has got to taste like shit. Why is this a specific club branded cigar? I don't know if that's a real thing.
Maybe it was. It's 2002.
Maybe. I don't know. She's like, we should go check out the Turtle Club. And then he's like, what should we do? And we get the echo flashback of her saying, maybe we should check out the Turtle Club. And he's like, maybe we should check out the Turtle Club. And she said, I just said that. And he's like, yeah, it's just so crazy. It just might work.
It's just so crazy. It just might work.
And that's a running gag. They do that multiple times for some reason.
You didn't laugh?
No.
Oh. So many laughs, Max. You missed out.
We get an Illuminati wipe, and we're at the Turtle Club, and I wrote, here we fucking go, because I know what this scene is. Here we fucking go.
So now you have the context.
He looks like Mitch McConnell in a turtle suit. Mitch McConnell already looks like a turtle. Everyone in the club is very uncomfortable with what's happening, because of course you would be if a man with a turtle costume showed up. You would be like, what is this? And he's immediately blown it. He's terrible at this gig. She has to get them in, coast them through, get all the information out of him. This is not how clubs work. They show up at the front desk and they're just like, "Can we just get in? We just want to talk to someone." That's not. They don't. A club will not just let you in. You have to know someone who's in the club to get into the club. You can't just show up and roam around. That's the point of a club, is to stop that from happening.
Not at the Turtle Club.
They're at the Turtle Club. Are his powers magically manipulative? And that's a question that I asked at this point, because we've seen the dad steal the Constitution like nothing. Even if Michael Johnson. Is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
Even if Michael Johnson showed up at a museum to take a copy of the Constitution, they wouldn't just give it to him. So it seems like the Master of Disguise powers are magically manipulative. It's like the Force. It's like, you will give me
Why wouldn't they just give it to him? He's a famous person.
You don't just give artifacts to famous people.
You do.
No, you don't.
It's in the film.
Okay. So the powers, again, demonic possession. They're influencing people's minds
No, they're not.
to just accept what's in front
It's
of them.
Jessica Simpson. You're gonna give what Jessica Simpson wants, yo.
Why does she want the moon lander? The moon. Don't even get me started.
The
on
one I
moon
didn't
lander.
get was Governor Jesse Ventura.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Who's that? Is he a wrestler?
Yeah, he's Jesse the Body Ventura.
Was he in WWE?
Yeah,
Oh, I must have missed him.
he's in Predator.
Was he in the Attitude Era?
I don't know exactly when. He was around. He was big in the 80s.
Probably why. Okay.
Yeah. Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, that sort of.
Oh, part of that crew.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, he was governor of Minnesota.
Okay.
And also, when was he governor of Minnesota? I meant to look that up. Jesse Ventura.
Probably around that time.
Because they say that he is Governor Jesse the Body Ventura. He was governor of Minnesota when they made this movie.
Yeah.
Our tax dollars hard at work, I see.
Yeah.
How is that even allowed? Jesus.
Your president was in Home Alone too.
But we're living in a different world now than this movie came
You've
out.
always been doing this.
Not like this. He wasn't president then. Though if Trump showed up in the Avengers, that would be insane.
That would be amazing. I would watch that. If they announce that Trump is in Avengers Doomsday, I'm watching that. I'm opening night, showing up.
It'd be interesting.
Showing up. He's got the gauntlet and everything. Fuck yeah. Turtle Club.
The Turtle Club. They go to talk to someone. The guy who I guess made the cigars. It's the librarian from The Mummy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What's his name? Is he still around?
I don't know. Eric Avari. I think he's still alive. Yeah. Yeah. He's a character actor. He shows up in a bunch of stuff. Looks like he.
73.
Wow. Yeah. Good actor. Always nice to see him show up. A little oasis in this desert of hell that we're in right now. And we're coming to what is legitimately the funniest part of the movie, and it is actually funny. It is pure comedy.
The turtle? The turtley turtle?
It's not the turtle stuff that he's doing. It's not just him saying turtle over and over again. That's not funny. What's funny is this, that they're asking the cigar maker what is the cigar, and he's like, oh yeah, that's from Devlin's private collection, why did he make a private collection with a turtle branded cigar for a private I don't understand any of the logic here.
Is that rich?
But he doesn't want to give them the address. He doesn't want to give them Devlin Bowman's address. And so they're like, are you sure you can't give this an address? And it is at this point when Dana Carvey, he's turtling it up and he says, no information, He pulls in his arm. What if harm found its way to you? Terrible, terrible, terrible harm. Would that change your mind? He does a bit more bullshit for a while, and she's like, oh, just the name is fine, we'll leave. She starts dragging him away, and as she's dragging him away, he says, terrible harm, the kind of harm that makes you cry out in the night like a little baby. When he said, what if harm were to come to you, I did laugh out loud. I laughed hard, because the pure image of a man dressed as a turtle acting like an idiot, suddenly threatening very serious real violence, is actually genius. It's so funny.
Now you're starting to get the level of this film, yo. You're starting to get the level of this film, yo.
They struck gold by accident. This is what I mean. If this was the original vision, if Dana Carvey's idea for this movie was an entire movie like this, then it would have been fantastic. But no, this is the only glimmer of that they leave in. And it's such a shame that this made me laugh as hard as it did because it has to be in this movie when a turtle man saying, "What if harm were to come to you?" It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It's offensive that you have to watch this movie to see it. Do you have anything to say about that moment?
Totally turtle.
Watch this be the one moment of the movie you don't like.
Totally turtle. I didn't think it was that funny, yo. The whole sequence.
The whole turtle sequence?
The whole turtle sequence. I think it's the weakest part of the film.
Well, I think the whole turtle sequence is pretty stupid. It's literally these 3 lines that make me
It's
laugh.
the weakest part of the film. Out of all his impressions. Like, you've got Terry Suave, you've got the Cherry Man, you've got the shit on the grass. Who else does he do? Who else does he do?
There's one horrifying thing we see in the bloopers that they clearly cut an entire sequence out of this movie because...
Oh, yeah, the bloopers. I don't count the bloopers because they cut it.
But just knowing that it exists, something that they thought was so bad they had to cut it out of this movie, that's terrifying.
Because it didn't fit narratively.
But you said they weren't concerned with narrative. You said not to pay attention to the narrative.
Yeah.
So are we concerned with narrative or not? Keep your story straight, man.
Let me explain.
Yeah?
Okay?
Yeah?
There was some impressions that just didn't fit in the story. It's an hour and 20 minutes, yo. 10 minutes is credits. Okay? So that's an hour and 10. You gotta be in and out. You gotta cut out some impressions, yo. If some impressions don't fit in trying to get to Devlin Bowman, you gotta cut them out.
But I thought we weren't concerned about the story.
They in the bloopers.
You haven't explained anything to me. You're just telling me not to think.
You shouldn't.
Okay.
Totally total. Listen, so you told me that they shot the turtle scene during 9/11.
Yeah, so
At least that's the rumor.
there's the legend that they were shooting the turtle scene on the morning 9/11 happened, and they all looked at the television screens and saw the second tower go down as Dana Carvey was sitting there dressed as a turtle. Now, unfortunately, that is a hypocritical story. He wasn't actually in turtle costume during 9/11. It did happen around this time. I'm not sure they were shooting this exact scene, though.
So I read, I don't know if it's true, I read that it was the total scene. It didn't say if he was in costume,
Yeah.
but it was on set whilst they were filming the total scene.
Okay.
And they held a moment of silence
Okay.
because it happened whilst they were shooting it. But in terms of the total scene itself, comedy gold, yo. Even though I think it's the weakest part. But if that's the weakest part, think about the rest, yo. Think about the rest. You know what I mean? If this is the weakest part, if I think this is the weakest part, it's like Son of the Mask I was telling you about, right? Son of the Mask is a masterpiece.
You couldn't even say that. You couldn't even get through it.
I'm laughing because of your face. You don't believe me. You don't believe me. I don't know why you don't believe me. This scene itself, to quote Scorsese, cinema. It should be held as one of the greatest. You know how they talk about when they're charging onto the shores of Normandy in Saving Private Ryan is like one of the best scenes ever in the film. The turtle scene is up there, and that's the weakest part of this film, yo. That's the weakest part of this film. Turtle.
As he's leaving the turtle club.
Turtle.
As he's leaving the turtle club.
And did you laugh when he took the man's nose?
I'm getting to that.
Just pat it back out.
As they're leaving, some sleazebags hit on Jennifer. He retreats into his shell. They look into it, and he pounces on him and bites a man's nose off, and then spits it back out. When he bites the nose off, it's just a haunting patch of skin left on his face. Demon powers. Horrifying, time and space bending demon powers. The man barely reacts to having his nose bitten off by a... not a suitable reaction to that. If a man bites your nose off, you would have more of a reaction than, what?
You can still breathe through your mouth.
It's not about breathing. It's about having your nose bitten off and replaced with a patch of skin, and then having it spat back on by a man with demon powers.
He's that good.
Why doesn't he use this ability anywhere else in film?
You don't. First of all, he can only use it when he's a turtle.
What about turtles mixed?
Because turtles bite you.
They don't bite noses off and leave it with a patch of
But
skin.
they bite you.
I'll tell you what, if he had bit the guy's nose off and it was a patch of blood and gore, that would have been funny.
That's totally not in the tone of what this film is.
No, but it would have been funny.
It's not kid friendly. Blood is not kid friendly.
Would have been funny.
Well,
So,
spat it back out.
after that terrifying display,
Okay, you know what? Let's stop that. We'll carry on tomorrow.
we'll carry on tomorrow.
We'll carry on tomorrow.
We're not even halfway through.
Yeah, no. But we'll carry on tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna have to release this in 2 parts. Alright, see you next time, folks.